The Las Vegas Raiders did something good for themselves when they hired GM Tom Telesco. If you look at his track record, he hasn't missed in the first round. And if you look at the whole of the Chargers roster the last 10 years, those rosters have been good. Look at the roster they have for the 2023 season. It is as talented or more talented than any other roster in the NFL. But unfortunately, he hired horrible head coaches, so he was fired. The Raiders don't need him to hire their head coach, though. They probably already knew they wanted a quarterback before they hired him. They just need him to make the deal to get their guy because they need to trade up to get the quarterback they need. So the real question is, which quarterback are they looking to trade up for? Is it Caleb Williams or Jayden Daniels? Let's start with Daniels. I think head coach Antonio Pierce knows talent. He was a recruiting coordinator that brought Daniels to Arizona State. With the Raiders, he had a big hand in bringing in linebacker Robert Spillane as the linebacker coach and a bigger hand in bringing in corner Jack Jones as an interim head coach. Some trust in his eye for talent had to be earned there. As far as this boy Daniels goes, he just won the Heisman Trophy. When you recruit a Heisman Trophy winner, your eye for talent has to be taken seriously, so Pierce should have a voice, even after Telesco was hired. Remember, Daniels was at the Raiders season finale and celebrated with Pierce and the team in the locker room after they won. That meant something. Oh, and let's not forget Daniels comes with the approval of Raiders superstar receiver Davante Adams. He wanted C.J. Stroud in the last draft, and GM Dave Ziegler listened. He had a deal in place to get Stroud, but Josh McDaniels nixed it and gave Jimmy Garoppolo too much money. We'll see if Pierce and Adams on his side will be enough to make Daniels a Raider. I think Telesco was hired partially based on who he liked at quarterback, so again, he's with the program, whatever that is. The voice of dissent is allegedly coming from the biggest voice in the building, and that's Mark Davis. I keep hearing he wants Williams. I can see why, too. I'm pretty sure the businessman in him is talking for one. He might not have won the Heisman in this past year, but he did win it after the 2022 season, and he's still the most well-known football player coming out of this draft. Davis can use that to fill his Allegiant Stadium with Raider fans. He's the consensus best quarterback and football player in this draft, too. He's the Andrew Luck of this class, and Luck was the John Elway of his class, so history could be urging Davis to make this move. His father, Al Davis, had a deal for Elway in '83, but then Commissioner Pete Rozelle blocked it. Look at all the teams the Raiders had after the '83 Super Bowl team all the way to '98, Elway's last season. He might have won more Super Bowls than Tom Brady. That haunted Al for years, and you know Mark doesn't want that. Here's something we all have to realize, though. It's lying season. If you can believe it, Davis supposedly meddled and had former Raider quarterback Derek Carr cut so he can sign Tom Brady, but he decided to retire. If that's true, no one knew about it until way after the fact. So when I hear these so-called reports of Davis wanting Williams, I have to wonder if it's true. Do you believe Davis moves out loud like that? The last time he supposedly got involved in a personnel move, it was in silence. There are some other details that could be telltale signs. I have to go back to how Williams reportedly said he wasn't going to enter the draft unless he was given assurances the Bears were going to trade the #1 overall pick. Then just a couple of days later, Williams entered the draft. Then a day after that, reports came out that Pierce is interested in Cliff Kingsbury, who coached Williams at USC, to be his offensive coordinator. Kingsbury interviewed with the Raiders today, so keep track of that. What do you think? Do the Raiders want Williams, or is it a smokescreen and Daniels is the guy they want? Again, I don't know how much Telesco has to do with who the quarterback's going to be. That decision could very well have been made long before he was even hired. But one thing we do know is the Raiders need a quarterback, and they're probably going to have to trade up for one if they're going to compete in the AFC West. So who's it going to be? Daniels is Pierce's boy, who he recruited at Arizona State. He was at the season finale celebrating in the locker room with Pierce and everything. Those rumors about Davis wanting Williams have only just begun. But it is lying season, so is it a smokescreen or is it real? Thank you for watching. See you next time.